such a joke, right? They don't say anything legitimate. They're just throwing out, I mean, it would be like trying to buy a $500,000 house and then offering $80,000 for it and expecting that the person would take it. It would never happen, right? And so it's the same thing with a car, or buying a brand new Lexus for, you know, that retails at $50,000 and thinking that you could get it for like $8,000, you know, or $7,000. If that were the case, everyone would do that, and then they would just go sell it for $40,000, and you'd make $30,000 every single time you did that. But that's not reality. So there's kind of the difference. So Facebook has been, I think, really good. It's you always have to deal with people who are fake and not serious. But, you know, just to give you some statistics, like I said, about 800 people looked at the ad, and so that's probably around 500 people or maybe 400 people, because I think if someone views it multiple times, that counts as another view. So, you know, if 800 people visited it, probably 400 of those people are unique visitors, so 50%. It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more, I'm not totally sure. But out of roughly, you know, 400 people that are unique people, I probably had 10 people reach out to me. So that's really good, right? I don't want to have a bunch of people reach out to me. Most people are going to look at anything, and they're going to, you know, if they're interested, they'll look at the post, they'll look at the ad of what it says in the description, and then they'll probably just, you know, maybe they'll save it, like a lot of people did. Like 21 people so far have saved it. So what that means is, like, you know what, I'm kind of interested in this, and I'm going to keep my eye on it, and maybe if the guy reduces the price, or maybe, you know, next week after I get paid, I'll think about maybe buying this, or maybe I won't. But if you hit that save button, that means you're someone who's thinking about it. Okay, and so again, out of 400 people, I had probably 10 people so far contact me, so 1 out of 40. What's that? 2.5%. So that's not bad. 2.5% of people that came to look at it contacted me. It's not bad at all. And but the bad thing with it is, and this is probably just true with really anything, honestly, and especially if you're dealing with a lower budget vehicle, because again, the people that are going to be interested in a kind of a cheap car or a cheaper car are people that don't have a lot of money, that are basically looking to get it for free, that want to negotiate the hell out of it, and are people that are like, hey, you know, would you trade marijuana for it, or would you trade this other car for it? And of course, I never said anything about wanting to accept a trade for marijuana or for cars. I actually said no trades on there, and you still get people who will reach out to you and say, or for example, this is nothing. I'm not trying to be negative towards these people. I'm just kind of pointing out what happens and how I feel it's just a big waste of time for people to contact you. One guy said, hey, I don't have enough money right now, but I want a car, you know, a reliable car for transportation. Would you take $300 every week or every 2 weeks or something like that? So a payment plan with a guy that I don't know who he is. It's some guy on Facebook. There's no way that I would have any recourse if he doesn't pay me, and there's no down payment, right? So why in the hell would I ever do that? It's a totally one-sided arrangement. And then let's just say that someone's stupid enough to do that. So the guy comes and he gives you, you know, whatever, he gives you some sort of contract that he wrote up, and maybe he gives you $500 on the first day. Why would he pay you? What's, you know, in 2 weeks, let's say he doesn't pay you, and then what are you supposed to do? You're just supposed to call him up and say, hey man, I don't know who you are, and you're not answering your phone because you know my number, and you know you don't have the money, or you know you don't want to pay me because you already got the car, and I'm not a bank, I'm just an individual guy. So I don't even think a lot of people would do that with their family, you know, people that they actually know. I doubt that a lot of people would probably not even loan them money, because it kind of puts you in an uncomfortable spot. If it's a bank or a car dealership, hey, they have to do that. That's how they make their living, and they do that over thousands of people. So if 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 100 of them default, you know, they have a way to reconcile that properly. Whereas you know, there's no way in hell. It's you know, I'm not asking, it's not like it's a very expensive car. It's a couple $1,000s really. And so this guy wanted to make payment plans to me, which I don't know one person on Craigslist or Facebook that would, with a complete stranger, that would be okay doing that. I really don't. So there's people like that, you know, like I said, there's people that just throw out numbers without literally saying anything. They don't say, hey, is your car still available? You know, would you consider this amount for it? All they say is $600 or 500. You know, that's it. And it's like, well, what are you talking about? Or one guy wanted to buy a part off of my car, or off of my brother's car. He messaged me about just some random ass part on the car, and I'm like, dude, if you want to come look at the car to buy the car, you know, I'll sell you the whole car. I'm not going to be parting out the car. I didn't say anything about doing that. If you want to buy the whole car, you can do that, but I'm not going to be chopping up the car and selling it in bits and pieces. You know, not going to be doing that. How long would that take to find someone that wants, you know, a hubcap on a fucking random car, or a steering wheel, or a door handle? I mean, it would take forever to do that. Some people do that, you know, if they run a junkyard or whatever, then they have a bunch of just random parts sitting there, and you can charge people more for the part because, you know, you have it and they don't. But, and then, you know, here's another thing. All I said, you get people that get offended at you for like declining their request. You know, I put my car up for sale. I told you, here's the car. I'm looking for $3,500 cash, basically, is what I said on the ad, because you put in somewhere to put a price in. And then the guy asked me to part out my car. He wants to buy some certain part off the car, which I don't even know what part it is, because it's my brother's car. And I've talked with my brother about this, and he had the same response, which is, hey, look, man, come look at the car to buy the car. If you don't want to buy the car, that's fine, but don't come to, you know, why are you wasting our time trying to, and you know what, I'll just go ahead and backtrack there. The guy first reaches out about wanting to buy something, and all I said was no. I said, hey, I'm not parting out the car. I'll take, you know, I'm selling the car as one car for $3,500. That's all I said, right? So I'm fine with the question. I don't care. You can ask me that question, and I'll just tell you no, right? And so at that point, the guy proceeds to message me back and say, well, I could just take this part off, and it wouldn't even affect anything else on your car. It would still be totally fine, and you know, and you're missing out on some quick cash you can make on it. And I said, all I said was no. I said no thanks. Even after he said that. So he tried again to get me to sell something, to part something out after I declined him initially. And so I declined him a second time, you know, not being impolite. I just said no thanks. I'm not interested in that. I'm selling the car as is. I'm selling the car as a whole. And then that was his response, right? So, you know, like, wow, you know, because you know, you're texting on an app, but wow, I can't believe you wouldn't just want to sell that part. You know, it wouldn't even affect anything, and you can make some quick cash. Wow. And so I just deleted the conversation. But I'm like, you know, why are you getting upset at me? You messaged me about wanting to do something to take a part off of my car, which I did not advertise. You asked me 2 times. I said no twice. And then you proceed to write a message that is like, wow, I can't believe you wouldn't do that. You know, I can't believe you would turn down quick cash. Wow, man. It's like, well, so you just have to deal with these people. And it reminds me of just, it's just so frustrating to have to deal with people like that, you know, on a continual basis, with people that are like retarded. I don't mind people that ask a question, right? You know, because you never know if someone's gonna say yes to something. Like, hey man, can I have those wheels? I really need those wheels. Maybe the guy has an extra pair of wheels. I don't know. So you ask to buy a set of wheels or something from someone. But typically, I'm not gonna be messaging people about buying a set of wheels unless they have a post that says, I'm selling 4 sets of wheels and tires, right? Usually people don't just say, yeah, you could come buy the wheels for $50 a piece, and now I have a car that I'm trying to sell with no fucking wheels or tires, right? No one would fucking do that. So it's just dealing with shit like that. And I've had 2 people now, and who knows if anything will happen, that say, all they say, and this is the only thing you're looking for if you're selling something. Hey man, I'm interested in the car. Could I come look at it? I had 2 people say that. And so I said, yeah. The first guy said, yeah, and he said, whatever time. And I said, yeah, that works. Let's meet here. He said, okay, well, let me just make sure, and I'll text you tomorrow. And so he might not text me. I sure as heck am not going to text him back. But he's not asking a bunch of ridiculous questions before you even see the thing. Like, will you take this price? Does the car? Another guy was asking me if the car has any rust, and I said, it has some spots of small surface rust, around the trunk, I guess. And basically what I said is nothing unusual for a car of 30 years old. It's 30 years old. It's not perfect. There's small things that are wrong with it all throughout the car because of its age. But it still runs, it still drives. And why don't you come if you're actually interested? You can look at everything with your own set of eyes, right? You can test drive the car for however long you want. And then you can make the determination of, oh, you know what? I don't think this is going to work. This car is just